What are the 6 irresistible types of women that a man can't resist? Hello, ladies, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alex Cormont, but today I am not your expert. I have with me Antia Boyd. She's just an amazing relationship expert, and she will tell you exactly what you need to know in order to make a man that will not be able to resist you. Hello, Antia. How are you doing today?
Hey, Alex. How are you?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I am doing super well over here.
That's
Riding the
amazing.
wave.
You know what? I'm so happy to have you on my YouTube channel. We did an interview for your YouTube channel, but I was so amazed by your advice, by your knowledge. And I told myself, no, I want Antia on my YouTube channel. So today it's your turn to share all of your secrets. First of all, for the people that maybe don't know you yet, can you just introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So first off, of course, I'm Antia Boyd, like Alex already said, and I've been helping single successful women for the last 10 plus years to attract the right man for them, and literally all over the world, all ages, all stages, from Africa to Australia. Been there, helped them. And you know, what's really interesting about that is I've also done it together with my husband. So we actually get to see, because he was helping men, I was helping women. So we really get to see the masculine and the feminine, the distortions on both sides that we don't know when we communicate with each other, right? When genders communicate with each other, what works, what doesn't. Men should be like women should be like men. You know what I mean? Vice is not working out. And and the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I actually grew up in an emotionally absent household. So I have a lot of women that I work with who have trust issues, attracting emotionally unavailable men. And that was my case as well, because I was growing up to a mom who would like roll over and would say, "Stör mich nicht," which means don't bother me in German. That's the core belief that I took in, was like, don't bother me. And so guess what, ladies? Whatever we take in as a child, that's the core belief that you continue to roll out throughout your entire life. And yes, that includes dating. I hate to say it, you know what I mean? So that's how I got into all of this, right? Like I was really struggling myself and attracting emotionally unavailable men.
I understand. I have heard that story. And what is amazing is like we can learn from our past and we can overcome it, which is very important. So today we wanted to talk about the types of women that a man can't resist. And you said that there are 6 irresistible type of women. Can you share a little bit why 6 and what is it exactly? How can the ladies use this experience from you?
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to talk about the 6 feminine archetypes today, that in a way, every woman, you have 6 women inside of you. Isn't that great news? So, but the question is, which ones are you connecting with, right?
Oh.
So let's, right? Because we may just express 2. And we totally forget about the other 4, depending on our upbringing, on our social environments, and so on. So I'm going to be talking about all 6 so that the ones that are asleep right now, you can wake up and you can reconnect with them. And then in turn, Alex, you can actually connect with that to a man. You can connect to all of his 6 masculine archetypes. That's the whole goal. You know what I mean?
That's funny. Sounds good. I want to know now. Let's dive in. I want to know what are my archetypes.
Let's roll right in. So I'm going to actually kick it off right away with the little girl, because the little girl is really, my husband always says the most attractive energy in a woman is the little girl. It actually creates the most polarity because it creates sort of like that protector instinct in a man. Right, Alex? Like you would just come and rescue her and take care of her.
And we want to be the savior. We want to be here for you. We want to do everything when we have the little girl in front of us.
Yeah, you want to be our hero, right?
That's
and
true.
So, but what's so often true is like when women come to me and they say, well, I attract a lot of boys, right? But I don't attract kings. I don't attract like men who have substance, who have integrity. I'm sure, Alex, you can relate. You probably hear this all the time too. And part of the reason is because you're not embodying yourself, your little girl. So you're not communicating into a different archetype in a man. So for example, like I said before, now you're bringing out more the wild man, the protector, a different part. You're not really bringing out the little boy that just want to play. And that's the one when you're more in the warrioress, which is the second. But I know we're going fast here. So let me know if you have any questions about that, Alex.
That's
anything
good.
you want to clarify.
I want to know number 2 now. I want to know number 2. So first of all, we have the little girl. And what you say is very important. It's very important to connect also to our emotions, to who we are. This is just something that sometimes we forget. We want to play a game instead of being truly ourselves. So I like it.
Yes. And what I say about this too is like, it's not about, you don't have to wear pink or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's about the playfulness, the spontaneity. You notice I'm just like joking with Alex, right? So that's the little girl. It's like just in the moment, right? Like you don't plan anything out. There's no structure. So and that's a little girl.
It's very funny because I love to say, men, we want to be the little boy in the dating process. We just want to be like funny. We just want to enjoy the moment. So I feel that we can relate. As a man, I can relate to you what you're saying. So it's very important. So what would be number 2? I want to get some.
So number 2 is almost like the contrast, which is the warrioress, right? And so the warrioress, she's like going to work, she's getting the job done. It's kind of like a soldier, right? Like, you know, life is tough, right? There's definitely no softening or anything like that. And then what happens is when we go on a date as the warrioress, we're just saying, oh, you play tennis. Oh, I play tennis too. As a matter of fact, I won the last championship. Oh, you worked at Google. Oh, I was the CEO at Google. Oh, you did this. So there's this like competitive energy that you start creating with this man. And Alex, how does that make a man feel when a woman comes on a date? There's not a lot of emotion, but it's just achievement. And this is what I did. This is what I have accomplished. And
competition, and they can be scared. I heard men saying that they are scared. And I heard women saying that I'm making this man being scared of me. Sometimes. I have the right answer or not? What is the answer that you were expecting?
Exactly, right? They're scared. Or they're also just saying, oh, she's just a friend.
Yeah, like she's just a friend.
It's neutral, right? It's like, there's no attraction because she's got it already together. She's already won the championships. She doesn't need a hero, right? Those are usually the women that come and say they're attracting more the little boy because the little boy is saying, like the distorted little boy. So there's like a healthy little boy. And now it gets really complex, but just in a nutshell, the distorted little boy, we call it the high chair tyrant. Visualize a high chair tyrant, Alex. You know what I mean? I want my food. I know.
I can see it.
So the women who attract that, it's because when a little boy doesn't want to grow up, so there's nothing wrong with a man being playful and joyful and spontaneous, of course. But if he's only that, and he doesn't want to grow up, and he doesn't want to take responsibility, guess what? The warrioress is perfect because she's got it all covered. I don't have to take care of anything. I could just hang out.
Exactly. And she will have some like control of the situation too. She will be truly herself, and she will attract someone that is different, but they can work. That's
exactly.
That's funny to know. So I know a lot of people, like women, that are very successful, and they ask me, Alex, I'm always making men scared away. I'm always competitive. So they can go for the little boy. This is what you're saying, right? They can go with someone that will accept that a woman can have the leadership in a relationship. That's okay.
Or if they don't want that, now they know why they have that and what's activated inside of themselves.
They can change their, that's funny. Yeah.
And what else they want to activate instead, right? So for example, one thing you can activate inside of yourself is at least the wild woman. Okay. So the wild woman is actually the most primitive aspect of us. As a matter of fact, there's one love coach and she talks about the 3 levels of love, and one is the animal level. So that's the most primitive, the most instinctual, but also the oldest. That means it's also in a way the most intelligent. It's the most embodied, Alex, right? When a woman is in her wild woman, so she's just body. There's no mind. There's no logic. This is total unleashed. It's completely unleashed, right? It's like, woo, okay, all right. And it's intense. So you would be saying, well, wait a minute. You said the little girl is embodied.
Yeah.
And the wild woman's embodied too. Well, the little girl doesn't have intensity. So if you think about more like the wild woman, it's almost like intense. There's like almost like some edginess to her, right? And of course it's about sex, right? She loves, of course, sexual connections with men and all of that. But the little girl is embodied, but it's in like much more like
playful.
How can I call it? Like, yeah, innocent way, good way, or pure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so you can say, well, what do I need the wild woman for? Well, I mean, for one, the wild woman brings a lot of space. I mean, spice maybe too, but spice into the bedroom, or also onto the date as well. It's not just into the bedroom, but also into the date, right? She brings sort of this pattern interrupt, right? And also she's being respected. Now, maybe some of you that watch this video right now, you're being liked, you're everybody's darling. But when it comes to respect, your man's not calling you back. He's not really respecting you. He's kind of like just, belittling you, right? It could be because you're not connected with your wild woman. Because that wild woman, that's what's scary. It's scary.
I have a question now that is very important. How to connect to that woman? Because most of the time when I coach these women, they are feeling scared, not confident. They don't see their value. I can see their value, but they are not seeing it. Do you have like one tips to connect to these women?
Yeah. So connecting to the wild woman is finding your own anger inside of yourself. Right? Like finding like, what are you frustrated about? Like, what's that? So this intensity, it's like a volcano eruption, right? Or another way, what you can also think about is like turn on some more intense music, maybe like some rock or something like, do something that you like, obviously, but maybe something that you normally don't listen to that really supports you to get more into this energy. Maybe turn on the music a little louder because the wild woman is really loud, right? The wild woman is not quiet. It's really loud. Also, another good way is to do ecstatic dance. So ecstatic dance is very primal. It's not like ballet or something like that, right? But it's the opposite. It's like, we're just going. I don't care. There's no rhythm. There's nothing. It's just movement. And you're crawling on the floor, whatever it takes. And just really going and just letting go to the best of your abilities. And I know that for some of you, you don't even know what I'm talking about. So just start somewhere. Just do some fire breaths, right? You could just literally you could do something like that. You could do belly breaths.
Okay, that's amazing. I love it because it's very factual tips. So ladies, if you're watching this video, of course, you can leave a comment. And I will also talk about Antia's work because she has an amazing YouTube channel. So just try to do the exercise. It's just for you to change your habits in order to make you connected to different type of yourself personality that will attract a man. So I love it because it's very factual. And you know what I've learned since 2007 is like small actions, like breathing exercise can change someone. It's so small, but so important. So thank you so much for bringing it.
Yes, you are so welcome. Now compare that or contrast that with the lover, which is our fourth. We have a fourth archetype, right? So the lover is slow, right? She's like sensual. So you'll see it. She's going to wear like sensual fabrics. She speaks slow. So for some of you, like, come on, hurry up, right? She also doesn't say that much. So when you sit next to a sensual, like the lover archetype, you'll actually, and you watch a date, she's not going to say much. She's just going to move her hair a little bit like this. And she's going to sip on her drink very slowly. And the guy's still like, oh my God, what's happening next? You know what I mean? So it's like...
I can tell we love this. We love it. This is so pure attraction, to be honest. Yeah.
Why is that, Alex? Like, say a little bit more about like the male perspective.
To explain, it's just difficult. It's a little bit of mystery. We don't know if we attract each other. You're like slowing down the pace when we want to increase the pace. So I just see that a lot of men, the way they want to attract you is by telling you, I love you, you're so beautiful, oh my God, I want to take you out. So we try to just make the pace so fast so you don't realize what is happening. So if you slow down, you become a challenge. You're different. And so I love this fact with the lover, because you takes time to be in love, you takes time to be in the attraction. So that's something very important.
And of course, some practical tips for that is to listen to slow music, right? Maybe just instrumental, not even the voice, right? Practice to do things in a slower way, maybe brushing your teeth slower, or just what you do in your everyday life. Dress slower or undress slower. You know what I mean? Even if it's just for yourself, right? But it's just like sort of a preview. But there's something to be said why men love striptease. It's really because it's the slowness, it's the anticipation of things. And then the other piece also is we want to bring in our senses. So if you're not used to that, let's say you're very much in your warrioress, then I recommend bringing in something for your senses. For example, maybe you are at work at a desk, and maybe you can have like some fragrances at your desk, like maybe little sticks that relieve like a little lemon smell, or like some wood smell, or just activating the senses and reminding yourself that you're a woman, because we can oftentimes feel like we're a robot. That's and true. We're just functioning, right?
Especially with today's world, today's society, where it's always fast. So it's very important to slow down the pace. And I give this exercise to the women I coach. I ask them to walk slowly, so they can also actually look at men, smile, just be in their body seduction, body attraction, body language attraction, which is very important. So it just, we have the same advice. You're going a little bit further, which I love it. For the women to dress, and the striptease example is very important, very important.
And what the lover does, Alex, is the lover attunes, right? Like none of the other archetypes attune, but the lover attunes, because you can't attune to another person if you go fast. You can only attune to another person if you take it slow. I can feel, oh, Alex wants more space, or, oh, Alex would like a little bit more movement. There's a little bit like something happening where, want to bring in more dynamism, more, whatever it is, right? A little bit more fire, whatever it is, but I can attune to that because I have a slower pace. So that's another beautiful aspect of the lover as well.
Wow, that's amazing. What would be type number 5? I wanna know, like, number. But I love this lover. If I have a Frenchman, I will be, for now, type number 4 is the most important one.
Right? You guys know how to do that. You know what I mean? Like
this is part of the culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So type number 5 is the priestess. And so the priestess is the hardest archetype to understand, because she's the kind of person who asks herself deeper questions. She picks up on intuition, but she can't necessarily put words to it, right? So it's not like, oh, this is happening. She doesn't know what's happening, but she's like, something tells me it's not right here. Something doesn't feel right with this guy. I have like an intuition I should go out with this other guy instead, or I shouldn't go on Match anymore, or I should do. So there's like this intuitive connection that doesn't necessarily make sense. Okay. So that's like the hardest one to understand. Those people also like to meditate, be with, some call it the higher self, or some higher connection. So I believe in something higher. And that's a relationship that they have with it on a regular basis. Now, what does that provide in relationship to a man? Well, for one, you bring out his magician. So in a man's world, it's called magician. In the masculine archetype world. So he's like, oh, what questions am I not asking myself? What is something that I don't know about myself? Because I just go about my life. I just have my boat and I have my life and everything is great. But why am I here? What's my purpose on this planet? Does that make sense? So it's a little bit like...
a lot of sense, yeah.
It's a little bit mythical almost, right? Like what's sort of my purpose? Like, why am I here? It's a deeper, it's more depth.
Connection. Yeah, the connection will be deeper. I love this question. And most of the time I ask women to ask this question to get to know a man and not be just superficial, but sometimes it's important to go a little bit deeper. But we have to be spiritual to be in type number 5, or at least we need to train it.
Right. And type number 5 is usually also the one that gets nourished the most by themselves. So it's self to self. So that's also where we're healing. So when we're strong in those archetypes, we're actually starting to heal our attachment styles more, and our anxiety and our attachment patterns and things like that, because we have this other connection that's not the other person. You know, there's something that's higher than ourselves that we can connect to.
Wow, this is amazing. And I feel that it's very important to connect, even if it's not the main type, it's very important to connect to this type just for us to be more spiritual, to fight the codependency, to gain some self-confidence. So yeah, that this one is very important too.
And some people really say, I mean, if you really want to track your soulmate, that's more on a spiritual level. That's like, you got to trust, you got to surrender if something doesn't flow. And you're like, but Antia, I don't have a reason for that. Well, that's the priestess, right? Do you want to be connected or not? You can just stay with the warrioress and little girl. That's fine. But you're going to have more of a human experience. You're not going to have that soul level in addition to that. Okay.
Wow.
And so now we're going to go to the last one, which is my favorite, which is the queen.
Okay. So I feel like every woman that will listen, we say queen. I like it.
Queen. Okay. Who doesn't want to step into the queen, right? And so with the queen, I want to actually explain a little bit something. So Brittany and I, we created the king and queen matrix. So explain this a little bit more. So imagine you have basically a spectrum, and on the one side of the spectrum is the doormat. She's like so extreme, right? Like she gives all her power away. She's so warm and loving, no boundaries. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have the bitch. And the bitch is like, I don't care about anyone else other than myself. I set boundaries. I'm aloof. I'm not even connected at all. And I'm cold. So the queen is the middle of the two. Okay. So she has the warmth and the connection. Okay. But she also has that unapologetic boundary from the bitch as well, right? So she'll say no, but it will still come from the heart. It's not going to come from a place of condescension. It's not going to come from a place of resentment. You know what I mean? It's still coming from a place of compassion.
Wow.
So that's
how can we develop this queen archetype?
Yeah, totally. So that was the second piece.
Yeah.
So one way how to create the queen stronger is actually providing space for yourself. So for example, so you may always be in a rush. You always get to your dates and it's right on time, or you always get to your work and you're right on time, you know, your hair is still half wet and there's no space. You don't get up in the morning and take your time. A queen has space. A queen always has space. She's never rushed. She's well nourished. She's well taken care of, right? She had already her green juice. Her hair is styled. She's never in a hurry because she has time. So she has abundance. So she has abundance of time, abundance of friends, abundance of everything, versus living in scarcity, right? Like the warrioress lives in scarcity. She has like, oh, she's always late. There's so much to do, so overwhelmed. Not so much the queen, right? So the queen will take on maybe two things and it's going to say, I'm going to delegate the rest. I'm going to ask my friend if she can pick up the kids from school on the way home, or if she can bring something for girls' night, or whatever the case may be. So she's really good delegating versus saying, I can do it all myself. I can do all the hard things, right? She's like, no. So she's always coming. She always has a full cup, Alex. Okay. You know, she always has a full cup.
Yeah.
And she makes sure that she's basically can encounter any situation, and not like that she says, well, wait a minute, I still need to go home and dry my hair and get breakfast and any of that, right? She's done already all of that. So she, in a way, she's prepared to receive more abundance, like a spontaneous invitation, for example. She's ready to receive that already. She doesn't have to say, oh no, I don't have time for that, or I got to go back home, or I got to do this or that or the other.
Because she's ready, basically. She's ready.
Yeah, she's ready. And the biggest thing is really, she knows how to queen front, right? So you move from confront to care front to queen front.
Okay.
So she knows how to queen front, which is, she knows how, when she has to set a boundary, how to actually create a win-win when she sets the boundary. So it's not just about her speaking her truth, but it's actually about how to create such a powerful connection with a man, where it's like, it's almost a deeper level of intimacy, and saying, how about you? So she's speaking to his king. By the way, a king and queen will always find themselves in the room. There's something about them, Alex.
That are
You
just,
could probably, right?
yeah, I can experience, I can feel this. You know, I have coached so many people. Sometimes we attract the wrong people because we are in a sense of energy that are not good. But the queen and the king, they know each other and they respect each other, and they love also the intimacy. So we can love each other, but also try some fantasy in the room. But I like the example of the queen because to me, it just shows that you are in control in your life. And so dating is the reflection of your life. If you don't like your life, the experience in dating will not be good, ladies. But if you truly are in control of your life and you're the queen of your life, you will find someone that will be the king. You just have to allow him to find his place too. That's something very important.
Absolutely. You know what a king really says is like, I will treat you like a queen, but you have to know that you are one. He's not going to spend his time convincing you because you still have your wounded girl, you still have all the stuff going on. You have to already be able, that's what I said before, she's already able to receive the king, right? That's why she's attracting the king.
Yes.
And
that's
so, because women always say, I want to attract my king. And I was like, well, what archetype are you in right now? You know what I mean? Are you set up for that? You know?
That's very important. That's very, very important. And to be honest, I didn't know about this archetype. So I was learning a lot today with you. The question that I have now, it's like, it's not easy to know what kind of archetype we are, what we should do, how to connect with a man. So I know that you have a special quiz and that you help people also to maybe move forward, because I understood now it's not that easy to put in action. So we will need more help for you. That's why the comments are here. But can you talk a little bit about the quiz also?
Yeah, totally. So for one, you will start to learn a little bit more about yourself, like so now you'll notice, okay, I'm stronger in those archetypes, maybe not in those archetypes. And then the quiz is really helping you to understand, like, what are the beliefs underneath that? Where are you leaving your body? Where you're disassociating? What kind of stories do you have around certain emotions? For example, sometimes we judge anger, sometimes we judge being sad, and so on. So the quiz is going to help you to understand that a little more. And then at the end, depending on how my ability on my calendar, you'll be also able to have a conversation with me where we can decipher that a little bit more and help you gain more clarity in dating so you can attract. I mean, what I'm hearing is like, usually you want to attract your king, so you can attract your king.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's very important to have a coach or to ask advice, to seek advice, because sometimes we are stuck in a position. We don't know how to connect deeply with our archetype and also how to react to change moving forward. So that's funny because Queen and King, I think that's something that a lot of people will be able to rely. But I love also the little boy. You know, I can find that there is a lot of men that wants to be in this little boy, or they want to attract a woman that will be truly herself. So that's amazing. I will include the link just right below. I also know that you have a YouTube channel, you have some materials. Can you talk a little bit about how to work with you? Because we love your advice.
Yeah, totally. So I usually work with women who struggle with trust issues, attracting emotionally unavailable men. And it's usually because they have a narcissistic parent. So on the one hand, they want to have the connection, but on the other hand, they don't trust the other person. So they always want to make sure they have their space. And so, of course, that's never going anywhere, right? Because you attract men who are also focused on themselves, disassociated, right? Not calling you back. And so, so that's like really my passion, helping you to step into your power and to also trust your power as well. Because usually women are also really intense that I work with.
That's true.
Have a lot of power, a lot of fire, but knowing how to use that in the right way so you can attract your king. And you can find all of that on magnetizeyourman.com, so we can have a chat about it and see, what's the right way for you and what's going on for you. What did you learn? What are your blind spots that you think you learned that they're the right way to be about in dating, but actually are the opposite? They're sending the complete opposite signals to a man. right? So how can we really bring both parts, the anxious and the avoidant part, together in you?
And it's possible. I like what you're saying because it gives not just hope, but also actions, very like little exercise that can change your life, ladies. So I will include all the links just right below in the description. Make sure that you click on it. Make sure that you give us a like and you will share comments. Of course, you're always welcome to share your questions. Antia, thank you so much. I really appreciate our time. I have learned a lot and I'm sure that the ladies too. So it's time for you to take the quiz and to move forward. I'm always giving the last word to the people I interview. So Antia, what will be the last word that you want to share to the community?
I feel what I want to leave you with is to continue to never lose hope, that no matter how long you've been single, if it's been for a month or if it's been 10 years, the past does not equal the future. You can influence it literally right now.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for this wisdom. And we talk soon and we see you soon on this YouTube channel. I hope we can do this often, this kind of interview. I like it.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me, Alex.
Thank you so much. Take care of yourself and we talk soon. Bye-bye, ladies.
Take care. Bye.
Bye, Antia.
Bye.